Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery.
All right, ready to dive deep? Today, it's Dale Carnegie and his legendary course, Effective Speaking. Tons of you requested this one.
It's a classic for a reason.
For sure. I mean, who doesn't want to become a better communicator, right? And this course, it's packed with practical advice, not just for giving big speeches, but for everyday conversations too.
Absolutely. It's not just about, standing on a stage. It's really like a journey.
A journey, yeah.
With 14 sessions.
14, wow.
Filled with all sorts of exercises and feedback.
Cool. So you really get to apply it, not just read about it.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I mean, it covers things like public speaking, obviously, but also like memory improvement, building confidence, even leadership skills.
So it's really taking like a holistic approach to communication, not just, how to say the words, but how to be the speaker.
Exactly. And, the results speak for themselves. I mean, one example from the course material is Luz Leslie from Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay.
And she was like terrified of public speaking.
Yeah, okay.
But one session, it completely shifted her whole mindset.
Wow.
And gave her the courage to speak her mind.
That's incredible. It makes you wonder what kind of gems we'll uncover today, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That'll resonate with all of you listening. What'll be your takeaway? So speaking of gems, let's jump into conquering fear and building confidence.
Yeah, that's a big one, right?
Huge.
I mean, Carnegie believed that thinking yourself brave, that's the first step.
That's really interesting. So it's like a mindset shift.
It is. It's about choosing to act despite the fear.
Okay, so it's not about waiting for the fear to go away, but acting anyway.
Exactly. And he uses a fantastic example, George Bernard Shaw.
Oh yeah, the playwright.
Right. And he was painfully shy.
Really? That's surprising.
Yeah. But he forced himself, basically. He forced himself to speak publicly.
He kind of faced his fear head on.
Yeah. He would stand on street corners, address halls, even engage with hecklers.
Wow. That's brave.
Yeah. Years and years of this constant practice. Yeah. And it transformed him into a captivating speaker.
It's amazing how practice and exposure can really change how you feel about something.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what the course encourages embracing every opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Even if it feels uncomfortable at first, the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
It's like exercising a muscle, right?
Yeah.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly.
And it's not just about seeking out those formal speaking engagements. I mean, Carnegie highlights a great piece of advice from General Vandergrift.
Oh, yeah.
Former Commandant of the Marine Corps. He said, keep busy and ignore your fears and they will vanish.
Profound, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's basically saying courage isn't the absence of fear, right? It's taking action despite it.
Right. Yeah. It's that action piece that's so important.
And General Vandergrift, his motto was, God favors the bold and strong of heart.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. True courage, it's an internal state we can cultivate. It's not something you're born with or without.
Right. So we can actually train ourselves to be more courageous.
Absolutely. Now, you might be thinking, okay, easier said than done.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But Carnegie, he offers some practical techniques.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's hear them.
One of them is visualization.
Oh, visualization.
Yeah.
So you literally visualize yourself speaking confidently.
Precisely.
And that somehow helps you actually do it in real life.
It does. The more you rehearse a situation in your mind, the more familiar and comfortable it becomes.
It's really interesting. So it's like you're training your brain to respond differently to those fear signals.
Exactly.
And I think that ties in really well with another key insight that Carnegie talks about, which is the power of details.
Oh.
He emphasizes using vivid, specific details to make your message memorable.
Because it's true. Think about it. If you hear a vague story versus one that's packed with sensory details.
Totally. One's going to fall flat and one's going to, really grab your attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more specific and tangible your language, the easier it is for the listener to create a mental image.
Right.
and retain the information. It's like the difference between saying it was a scary experience and saying, like, my heart was pounding so hard I thought it would burst out of my chest.
Yeah, you feel that, right? You feel that when you hear it.
Exactly.
It's like, it makes you feel like you were there.
Exactly. And Carnegie, he actually gives a great example in the course. Imagine you're describing a near-death experience.
Okay.
Saying something vague like, it was a close call, doesn't really, like, capture the intensity. Right?
No, it's very bland.
Yeah. But if you say something like, we discovered that if we had veered just 3 inches further to the right, we would have plummeted down a 1,000-foot cliff.
Whoa. Okay. Now that's a story.
That's a story.
That's a story that sticks with you.
And those specific details, the 3 inches and the 1,000-foot cliff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suddenly it's vivid. It's gripping.
It's like you can see it. You can see it happening.
Exactly. And not only does it captivate your audience, it also boosts your credibility.
Because it makes you sound like you were really there.
Exactly.
Like you really, experienced it.
So think about it, like, in your own communication style.
Okay.
Where can you swap out those, like, vague statements for those powerful, specific details?
Yeah, it's a good challenge.
Could be in a presentation, a story you're telling a friend, even an email.
Yeah, even in just, everyday conversations, I think.
Adding those details can elevate your communication, make it much more impactful.
For sure. For sure. So we've talked about confidence. We've talked about details. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Carnegie's magic formula for persuasive speaking.
Yep.
Have you heard about this one?
Yeah, it's a good one.
I've heard whispers.
Yeah.
But I'd love to know, like, the secret recipe. What's the magic here?
It's deceptively simple, but incredibly effective.
Oh, okay. I like those.
Yeah. It's a 3-step process. Example, point, reason.
Okay. So let's break that down. What does each step involve?
So first you start with an example, ideally a compelling story, from your own experience that illustrates the point you want to make.
Okay, so something that really, grabs the listener's attention.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you move on to the point. So is that where you, like, explicitly state what you want your audience to do?
Exactly. You state the action you want them to take clearly and concisely.
Okay.
And then finally, the reason. So this step answers the why. It highlights the benefit they'll receive by taking action.
So it's not just like, do this, but it's do this because of this.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward framework. Do you have an example that demonstrates the magic formula in action?
Absolutely. There's a great example in the course about a student who used this formula to advocate for seatbelt use.
Oh, okay. Important topic.
Yeah. He started with a personal story about a car accident where seatbelts potentially save lives.
Okay, so that's the example.
That's the example, grabs your attention right away.
Right, makes it personal.
Yeah, and then his point was everyone should install and use seatbelts in their vehicles. Simple, direct.
Right.
And then for his reason, he emphasized increased safety and the potential to prevent serious injuries.
Wow, you can really see how that structure makes the message so much more persuasive.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a lecture. It's a story with a clear call to action and then a compelling reason to take that action. So think about it. What are you passionate about? Could you use the magic formula to inspire others to get involved?
A good question.
It really makes you think about how you can present your ideas in a way that moves people.
Yeah, that moves people to action.
To action, yeah. Okay, so we've got confidence, we've got details, we've got the magic formula. Now let's talk about enthusiasm.
Okay.
Carnegie believed that genuine enthusiasm can significantly impact your success and happiness.
Yeah, he was a big believer in that.
But it's not about being, like, loud or boisterous.
Right. It's not about that. It's about genuine passion.
Okay.
That inner spark that fuels your words and actions.
I did.
He describes enthusiasm as ardent zeal or interest, fervor.
Okay, so it's more about, like, that inner fire that kind of shines through.
Exactly. And he shares a story about Frederick Williamson.
Okay.
Former president of the New York Central Railroad.
Okay. Big job.
Yeah. And Williamson believed that if two people are equally skilled, the one with more enthusiasm will consistently win.
That's interesting. It's like that saying, enthusiasm is contagious. When you're genuinely excited about something, it draws people in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Carnegie suggests that increasing your enthusiasm, like that could be the single most important factor in achieving success.
Really? Wow.
He even quotes William James,
Oh, the philosopher.
a philosopher and psychologist, who believed that we only use a small portion of our potential mental and physical resources.
So there's all this untapped potential just waiting to be unleashed.
Right.
And enthusiasm is the key.
Exactly.
Okay, but how do we cultivate that? How do we cultivate genuine enthusiasm?
Well, Carnegie believes it's about finding alignment between your work and your passions.
Okay, so it's about doing what you love.
And he tells this story about Charles Schwab, who became president of the Bethlehem Steel Corporation at a very young age.
Okay, so he must have been, incredibly talented to rise so quickly in the ranks.
He was, but what truly set him apart was his contagious enthusiasm.
Okay.
He just radiated like energy and passion for his work, which inspired those around him.
That's really inspiring. It really highlights how enthusiasm can be like a driving force for success.
And to further emphasize this point, Carnegie even quotes Sir Edward Victor Appleton, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, who said that that enthusiasm ranks even higher than professional skill.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is.
So it's not just about being good at something, but about having that fire in your belly.
Exactly. So I'd like you to think about this. Where in your life can you inject more genuine enthusiasm?
Ooh.
What are you truly passionate about?
Yeah, what gets you fired up?
Yeah. And how could you bring that energy to everything you do?
That's such a powerful question. It really challenges you to examine your own level of enthusiasm and think about how you can amp it up.
Yeah, turn it up a notch.
All right. So we've talked about enthusiasm. We've talked about facing our fears, the importance of details. Now let's dive into one of the most popular and widely applicable aspects of Carnegie's work.
Okay.
His 9 rules for winning friends and influencing people.
Uh-huh.
These principles are pure gold.
They are.
And they're not just for like work, right?
Yeah.
They apply to all areas of life.
All areas of life, that's right. These rules are about building genuine positive relationships.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to unlock these secrets. Hit me with rule number 1.
Rule number 1 is become genuinely interested in other people.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we go beyond like just pretending to be interested?
Yeah, right. It's about shifting your focus from yourself to others. Yep. Active listening, asking questions, showing genuine curiosity about their experiences.
So it's not about waiting for your turn to talk, but really wanting to understand the other person.
Exactly.
Okay, that's deep.
Rule number 2 is simple but powerful. Smile.
Oh yeah. I can see how a genuine smile can instantly like make someone feel more comfortable.
Exactly.
Put them at ease.
It conveys warmth, approachability, positivity.
Good stuff. All right, what's next? Give me rule number 3.
Rule number 3. Remember that a person's name is to them the sweetest and most important sound in any language.
That's so true. It's amazing how such a small thing can make someone feel so valued.
Right. It shows that you see them as an individual, not just another face in the crowd.
Yeah. All right, rule number 4. What do we got?
Rule number 4, be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves.
Okay, so this feels like a continuation of rule number 1.
It is.
Really emphasizing that focus on the other person.
It's about being present in the conversation, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
Right. It's about really, really being there, fully engaged.
And, I'm getting the sense that these rules are all interconnected, building upon each other.
Yeah, they're not isolated, are they? They all kind of weave together.
Exactly. They work together to create a foundation for genuine human connection.
Okay, cool. What about rule number 5?
Rule number 5 is talk in terms of the other person's interests.
So doing a little research beforehand, right, can go a long way.
Exactly. And it shows that you care enough to learn about what matters to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Rule number 6.
Lay it on me.
Make the other person feel important.
Okay.
And do it sincerely.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
everyone craves that feeling of being valued, of being appreciated.
They do.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be grand gestures.
Right.
A genuine compliment, acknowledging their accomplishments, or simply expressing gratitude can make all the difference.
It's those small acts of kindness, right?
Yeah.
That show that you're paying attention.
Exactly. Now, on the flip side, rule number 7 is don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Oh, yeah. I mean, negativity can be such a such a drain on a conversation.
It can. It can. Instead, focus on finding solutions.
Okay.
Offering constructive feedback, and maintaining a positive attitude.
It's about shifting your mindset, right?
Yeah.
From finding fault to finding solutions.
Precisely.
Okay. What's rule number 8?
Rule number 8 builds on this idea.
Okay.
Give honest and sincere appreciation.
So it's not just about saying, like, thank you, but truly acknowledging someone's efforts.
Yes.
And the positive impact they've had.
Exactly. And finally, rule number 9, arouse in the other person an eager want.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What does that mean? What does that mean exactly?
It means understanding the other person's motivations and desires, and framing your communication in a way that resonates with their goals and aspirations.
So it's not about, like, manipulating them.
No, not.
But rather, like, aligning your message with what they already want.
Precisely. It's about finding that sweet spot where your message meets their needs.
Wow, these 9 rules are so insightful. It's amazing how they can be applied to so many different situations.
You really can.
And they're not about being, like, fake or manipulative, but about being a better, more genuine version of yourself.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about approaching interactions with empathy, sincerity, and a genuine desire to connect.
This has been an amazing dive into some of Carnegie's core principles, but I feel like there's still so much more to uncover.
There is, yeah.
So much more to explore.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to continue this deep dive into Dale Carnegie's wisdom.
Don't go away.
Back again for more Dale Carnegie. Still going strong with his advice on communication. And, of course, those human relations skills.
Yeah. And we left off talking about Carnegie's 9 rules, right? For winning friends.
Yeah.
And influencing people.
Those were good. We covered the first 9.
They were all about fostering, those genuine connections, weren't they?
Absolutely.
Right.
It's not always easy to put those into practice.
Right.
Especially in the heat of the moment.
It takes conscious effort, for sure.
Yeah.
But the rewards are well worth it. I mean, Carnegie shares tons of real life stories in the course about how people have, transformed their relationships and their careers by applying these rules.
Yeah, stories are so powerful, aren't they?
They are.
Can you share one of those stories with us?
Of course, yeah.
I always find, like, real world examples, so helpful.
One that comes to mind is about a salesman who was struggling to close deals.
Yeah.
He was knowledgeable, he had a great product, but something was missing.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What was the turning point for him?
Well, he decided to, put Carnegie's principles to the test. And instead of launching into a sales pitch, he started genuinely listening to his clients, asking questions about their needs, their challenges.
Okay, so he shifted his focus from selling to understanding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the results were remarkable.
Okay.
His clients felt heard, they felt understood, and they began to trust him.
Yeah, that makes sense. People are more likely to do business with someone they feel connected to.
Absolutely. And by applying Carnegie's rules, the salesman transformed his approach and in turn his success.
That's great. That story it's a powerful reminder that these principles aren't just theories, They're practical tools that can make a real difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can start incorporating them into your life right now. Which of the 9 rules resonates most with you?
Honestly, they all resonate with me.
Yeah.
But I think the one I need to work on most is being a better listener.
Yeah, me too. It's hard.
Yeah. I tend to jump in, with my own thoughts before fully hearing what the other person has to say.
That's a common challenge.
Yeah.
But with conscious effort, you can cultivate the habit of listening more intently. Carnegie suggests techniques like asking clarifying questions.
Okay.
And summarizing what you've heard to ensure you're truly understanding the other person's perspective.
So it's not just about, being quiet while they talk, but really, really actively engaging.
And making sure you're on the same page.
Yeah. Those are great tips. I'm gonna try that. I know we've covered a lot already.
We have.
But I can't help but feel like there's still so much to learn from Dale Carnegie.
You're right, there is. And one of the biggest takeaways from the course is that effective communication, it's about more than just the words we use.
Right. It's about our mindset, our intentions, the way we connect with others.
Exactly. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of, developing genuine interest in others,
Yeah.
cultivating a positive attitude, and always striving to add value to the conversation.
And those qualities shine through regardless of what you're talking about.
They do, yeah. It's about becoming a more engaging, empathetic, and influential communicator.
So it's not about like quick fixes or manipulative tactics,
Right.
but about cultivating genuine communication skills.
Precisely. It's about becoming a better version of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
both personally and professionally.
What a fantastic reminder as we wrap up this deep dive. Is there a final like nugget of wisdom you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yes, I think Carnegie sums it up beautifully in one of his quotes.
Let's hear it.
He says, it isn't what you have or who you are or where you are or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy.
Okay.
It is what you think about it.
That's so powerful. It really highlights how our mindset shapes our experiences.
Exactly. So as you go about your day, remember that you have the power to choose your thoughts and, in turn, your emotional state.
What an incredible way to end this deep dive. We've learned so much about Dale Carnegie's timeless principles for effective communication and human relations.
And I hope you'll take these insights and put them into practice in your own life.
Absolutely. So for those listening, we challenge you to think about this. What one Dale Carnegie principle will you try to actively implement this week?
Choose one that resonates with you and make a conscious effort to apply it in your interactions.
And as you do, pay attention to the shifts you experience in your communication and your relationships.
For confident, you'll be amazed by the positive ripple effects.
And we're back, wrapping up our deep dive into the one and only Dale Carnegie.
Really explored some fascinating stuff today, haven't we? All those tips on effective speaking, building confidence, and, those human relations schools.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing how relevant his principles still are, even decades after he first shared them.
It really speaks to the timeless nature of human interaction, doesn't it? I mean, those core principles, genuine interest in others, positive thinking, they transcend any specific era.
Totally. That's probably why his work still resonates with so many people today. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what are some of the key takeaways you'd like our listeners to walk away with?
Well, one thing that really stands out to me is that Carnegie's approach, it isn't about manipulating people. It's not about using some kind of gimmick to get what you want.
Right. It's not about like surface level charm.
Exactly. Or slick sales tactics.
Yeah.
It's about developing genuine communication skills and fostering those authentic connections.
So it's about like becoming a better version of yourself.
Exactly.
More confident, more engaging, and just more effective, in all those interactions we have every day.
And it all starts with taking action.
Yeah.
Actually putting those principles into practice.
Right. So the course is packed with like practical exercises.
Right.
And assignments to help you actually apply those principles.
It's not just theory.
Yeah.
It's about actively honing your skills.
Yeah.
And turning those insights into habits.
So the more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Exactly.
Just like learning any new skill, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the beauty of Carnegie's work, I think, is that it's a lifelong journey. A journey of self-improvement.
Yeah, you never really arrive, right? There's always more to learn.
There is, and that's what makes it so exciting. We can continue to grow, evolve as communicators throughout our lives.
Well, on that note, as we conclude our deep dive, I encourage you to revisit, the principles we talked about today, the ones that really resonated with you.
Yeah, think about how you can integrate those into your daily interactions.
So maybe it's, focusing on being a better listener or practicing the art of giving sincere appreciation.
Maybe it's using the magic formula.
Yeah, to present your ideas in a more compelling way.
Whatever it is, choose one principle and make a conscious effort to implement it this week.
Yeah, just one. Start small.
And pay attention to the shifts you experience in your communication, in your relationships.
Because remember, like Dale Carnegie said, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you.
Wise words.
Wise words indeed. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Dale Carnegie.
It's been a pleasure exploring these timeless principles with you.
And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep connecting.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive podcast. your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.